Hey docs, Dr. Holly here from ChiroNumbers.com. It is 5 Minute Friday. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've been here before, you might have noticed my background has changed a little bit and the color on the screen has changed a little bit. What's up with that? New branding? This is a new branding for my office. So I've had some requests to talk a little bit about my most recent startup story. So going to be starting this series over the next couple of 5 Minute Fridays. Obviously, I could probably talk about this for a long time, so I have to make sure that I have my timer set for you guys so I don't go over on time. So, why am I doing this? Like I said, I've had a couple of people reach out and they're just curious. I know, for those of you that are following me, either you have never opened an office before, but have thought about it, maybe been too scared, a little too intimidated, whatever. Maybe you have been in an office setting where you owned your own practice, but maybe you bought that practice. So I'm just coming to you with sort of real live updates about how I've done this. This is essentially the third, maybe fourth, you could call practice that I've actually opened in the last little over 10 years. I think that how I want to start off this story is ending up telling you why I am starting over again. Okay. So let's get into that real quick. But welcome to Azalea Chiropractic and Acupuncture. And hopefully I'll be recording these all from this location, really from here on out. So, all right, moving forward, let me tell you about my newest startup story. So, we have to sort of go back in time and let you know, if you didn't know a little bit of my history, how I even ended up in this situation, like I said. So I am married to a chiropractor. That's my husband, Dr. Jude Miller, and we have two kiddos. Our very first practice we opened together back at the beginning, right at the beginning, January 1st of 2012. Okay, we graduated in 2011. And so we opened up that office in his hometown in East Tennessee and really just hit the ground running. We both knew that we wanted to open up our own office. And so it was easy-ish for us to make that decision and to dive right in. But of course, that didn't come without lots and lots of support, etc. So I'm not really here to tell you that startup story, but I'm just here to say, it's not the first time that I've done this and doing it completely from scratch. We didn't buy a practice, we didn't start off as associates, anything like that. Went straight into opening up a practice on our own. So did that in 2011, did the prep work, opened it in 2012. And we eventually sold that practice. We sold that practice in 2018 for an opportunity that my husband had to join a major chiropractic university as a faculty member, and then also working as a clinician with a D1 sports team. So did that through 4 seasons. And recently he had the opportunity to go and work for the VA. So that's where he is now. And that's what preempted our relocation from Tennessee to North Carolina. So that just happened a few months ago. So I knew that once we got here, I wanted to settle in. I wanted to open up an office again. I missed having an office, right? From selling that practice in 2018. I had joined a practice for a small time in 2019. And really, the office was great. It was my first experience working as an associate. But it came apparent to me pretty quickly that I needed to put a whole lot more work into a part-time practice that I did not own, right? So, we sort of did not really know what was on the horizon. Of course, it's 2019. We had really no idea what was on the horizon for the whole world, let alone our family. So I stepped back from practice a little bit at the end of 2019 to sort of regroup. We thought might be relocating in 2020. Well, then, as we all know, 2020 happened and, did not end up relocating. So I was sort of itching to get back to doing something, but opening, a brand new brick and mortar practice in 2020, still not sure if we were relocating, et cetera, did not fit. So I started doing house calls. Okay. I really love working with pregnant moms. And so I just started networking very, very, very locally. I did not advertise whatsoever that I did these house calls. But I just networked with doulas, midwives, birth groups, et cetera, to say, hey, I'm here if you need me. And so that works the best for our family because we do have two small children. They were doing virtual school that year. You guys know the story of that. So fast forward, I essentially ended up doing those house calls for about a year and a half. And then we had, now on the horizon, we had our exit strategy for where we were leaving. We were going to be planted. So North Carolina came about very quickly. Figured out the process of getting licensed. Now I'm opening up, I knew that I would need to open up a new company because before we did a transition, we were still within the same state. So a lot of the, legal sort of stuff did not have to be changed. It was easy just for me to say, hey, I've still got my entity open. I can go out and offer house calls. I always kept my malpractice going, etc. Okay. So it was a little bit more of a transition. We moved here at the beginning of April. 2022 now. And so again, having kids, being a mom, being in this profession, I do a lot of advocacy and volunteering work, etc. I knew I wanted a space. I wanted it to be my own. I'll tell you the truth. I interviewed for a couple positions and they just were not a right fit. And I knew I just wanted to get back to having my own space, doing things my own way. And that's, I would be able to figure that out in time without needing to be rushed into a situation or do anything really high pressure. So I took the summer off. Once I had everything that I needed to, I kind of started to build a network and say, I'll do some house calls, but I really did not want to make that my business. Okay. It was very much an intention of I'll do a couple of house calls over the summer, but really my plan is to open a business come August. So this space became available as of August 1st. So I literally got the keys, hit the ground running. As I'm recording this right now, it's September 2nd, and that's what the series is going to be all about. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what has transpired over the last, I would say, 6 to 8 weeks, and just giving you a sort of a picture and a view into how quickly things can happen if you set the intention right and you get all the things lined up that you need to. Things I would do differently. Things I did differently from now versus 11 years ago when we started up a practice, and just different practice models and stuff like that. So, hoping I don't lose anybody during this series, but and I hope it's helpful for those of you just to see someone else's story and experience. So I can tell already. I'm at 7 minutes when it's supposed to be 5 Minute Friday. I set this timer for 5 minutes. I don't know what happened, but have a good weekend, guys.